program tonight. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo criticizes the federal government over the worsening insecurity in the country, asks the government to address the menace. Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State advocates for the establishment of a theater command in the northwest to enhance military operations in the region. Former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan describes the recent political development in Guinea-Bissau as a sham, calls for the announcement of the election results. And flooding in southern Asia leaves about 600 people dead.
On sports news tonight, Phil Foden scores winning goal in injury time as Manchester City defeat Leeds United 3-2 at the Etihad Stadium.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has raised serious concern over the country's escalating insecurity and has criticized the government for its inability to protect citizens. He made this known at the 2025 Plateau Unity Christmas Carols and Praise Festival held at the Ten Commandments altar in Jos, the state capital. He said if the government cannot handle the situation, they should ask for international support. Our correspondent, Piercy Debang, has this report.
It was a night of solemn reflection and collective worship as thousands converged for the second edition of the Plateau State Unity Christmas Carols and Praise Festival, a gathering that brings together national leaders, former presidents, top military chiefs, religious leaders, and citizens united in prayer for peace. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, delivering a strongly address, lamented the rising death toll from violent attacks across the country, stating that the government has failed in its basic responsibility.
We are being killed.
The former president said insecurity has continued to deteriorate since the kidnapping of the Chibok girls, insisting that Nigerians are tired of excuses.
Nigerians are being killed, and our governments seem to be incapable of protecting us. We are part of the world community. If our government cannot do it, we have right to call on the international community to do for us what our government cannot do for us.
Tonight, we have set aside denominations.
Welcoming participants earlier, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State officially declared the festival open, reaffirming his administration's commitment to restoring unity, harmony, and shared purpose.
With unity, we will achieve a lot. With unity, we will be able to shut the door against the enemy that troubles us.
This is a message of our unity.
Religious leaders also echoed the call for national healing and renewed hope, with the president of the Church of Christ in Nations urging Nigerians to remain steadfast.
As Plateau people, we hold each other and we pursue peace and unity.
The event featured mass choir renditions, prayers, and message of reconciliation, reinforcing Plateau's role as home of peace. Percy Dabang, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has restated its commitment to tackling the rising insecurity and has called for regional and international collaboration to tackle the menace. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, gave the assurances of the government in Abuja when he received the delegation of Charismatic Bishops Conference of Nigeria, led by its president, Archbishop Leonard Kwakas. According to him, the current administration is doing everything within its power to ensure that priority is given to the security of lives and property, as the government is open to collaborative support from international allies.
We have a common goal. We serve the people, while you also provide spiritual nourishment of the citizenry. So we're not working at cross purposes whatsoever. We also know that the church in Nigeria and other religious groups have provided educational facilities, health facilities, and so on for the benefit of the citizenry. And so working together, we can achieve more within the shortest possible time. It is very clear that you have been following closely the steps being taken by government, that there is peace in the country, there is stability in the country. We need support from our allies to be able to fight terrorists in the land.
In the face of security challenges, the governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, has asked residents not to panic as his administration is working with security agencies to make Kogi State safer. Governor Ododo stated this in Lokoja, the state capital, while addressing journalists at the government house shortly after a joint peace and security meeting.
This is a unified security meeting with Governor Usman Ododo presiding. Those in attendance include security agencies, traditional rulers, and other critical stakeholders in the state. The meeting is in response to the rising security challenges in the country, and the state government is assessing the situation. The meeting is held behind closed doors for several hours. At the end of the meeting, the governor vows not to negotiate with criminals, maintaining that he will not pay any ransom.
The major bandits, the commanders have relocated to Kogi State for the past 3 days. We have been on that, and we will not wait for them to attack us. We are going to take the fight to them. And from this meeting, we have all agreed that we are not going to bow to any criminals. We are not going to negotiate with any criminals. We will never pay ransom.
Governor Ododo also expressed gratitude to God for the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, who he believes is actively addressing national security concerns.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying his best and is leading from the front sincerely. We appreciate him for his proactive action taken in rescuing the last kidnapped students and church members. We cannot appreciate him enough.
While the police is warning against spreading panic in the state, the traditional rulers are pledging to continue to sensitize their subjects on the dangers of fake news.
We have been used to this kind of rumor. It's not the first time. And we know how we strategize to ensure that we do the normal thing. But like you know, the governor have given the order that all this fake news should be discouraged.
If you watch it critically, you discover that some video and some information passing out through the social media is wrong. So I advise everybody to make sure to be mindful and know before you share any information on a social media.
The state government believes this collaborative approach will serve as a model for other states, demonstrating the power of unity in tackling security challenges.
The establishment of a Northwest Theater Command structure that will bring the Nigerian Army 1st and 8th Divisions under a unified command structure will help the fight against insecurity in the region. And that's according to the governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani. He made this known at the Northwest Zonal Security Summit in Kaduna State, which aims to engage critical stakeholders across these 7 Northwest states in order to strengthen community participation and promote intelligence sharing to support ongoing security operations in the region.
Insecurity falls poverty, poverty falls insecurity. Our region relies heavily on agriculture. Yet, as farmers abandon their farmlands due to fear of attacks, food production plummets. This threatens not only regional sustenance, but national food security. To break the cycle of violence and despair, we must fundamentally rethink our security strategy. The Northwest requires an integrated system that balances military strength, community engagement, and long-term development. A central component should be the creation of a Northwest Theater Command, bringing the Nigerian Army 1 Division and 8 Division under a unified command structure. We must also build strong security partnerships beyond our borders. I recommend the extension of the multi-national joint task force, which has achieved notable success around the Lake Chad, to cover our borders with the Niger Republic. This expansion will disrupt arms trafficking routes, deny criminal cross-border sanctuaries, and weaken the networks that sustain their operations. However, military power alone cannot win this battle. Community trust and participation are indispensable.
Staying with security matters, in Taraba State, the Army says it's leaving no stone unturned in its effort to restore peace in troubled communities. The commander, 6th Brigade, Nigeria Army Sector 3 Operation World Stroke, Brigadier General Kingsley Uwa, stated this when he led troops into the bush to flush out terrorists. According to him, all displaced persons will return to their ancestral homes and there will be no room for further destruction in Taraba.
These are internally displaced persons taking refuge at the makeshift shelters in Manya, Chachenji, Ofan Ahmadu, and opposite the Nigeria Army 93 Battalion Barrack in Takum Local Council of Southern Taraba. According to emergency agencies, over 6,700 persons were displaced in the area following the latest attack on 47 farming communities in the area, which led to the death of 65 persons and 31 injuries. The brigade, which is in charge of the Sector 3 of the Operation Whirlwind, is launching the operation to flush out the militia herders who are believed to be hibernating in the area.
I want to assure you that the criminals in Southern Taraba have no hiding place. I don't see what I cannot do. I'm just waiting for this phase to finish. Once it finishes, we will enter the bush and comb everywhere.
The Army is joined by the State Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to the displaced persons.
Okay, our mandate is to respond to emergencies and to manage disasters. So such as this, in the case of crisis, if there's any displaced persons, we are to provide immediate relief to you guys.
The displaced persons are asking the federal government to step up into the issue and ensure the return of peace to the area.
It's not a local or neither a state problem. It's a national problem. When you hear on radio, on air, you discover that these Fulanis are causing a lot of things in the whole state, in most of the states in our country.
The team also paid a courtesy visit to the paramount ruler of Kororofa Chiefdom in southern Taraba. The traditional ruler pledged his support to the operation.
We wish you a successful outing, because we know you are coming with going to solve a lot of problems. We are battling with Fulani wrestlers. We are battling with them.
The Nigerian Army is assuring residents of the area of their unwavering determination to restore peace and ensure that no life is lost in the affected communities and beyond going forward.
In part two, after the break, President Bola Tinubu nominates Femi Fani-Kayode, 31 others as ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A quick recap of our top stories. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo criticizes the federal government over the worsening insecurity in the country, asks the government to address the menace. Governor Obasani of Kaduna State advocates for the establishment of a theater command in the northwest to enhance military operations in the region. Former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan describes the recent political development in Guinea-Bissau as a sham, calls for the announcement of election results. And flooding in southern Asia leaves about 600 people dead. Former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan has been speaking on the recent political development in Guinea-Bissau, describing it as a ceremonial coup. According to him, it was Guinea-Bissau's president, Umaru Embalo, who is currently in detention, that announced his own arrest before the military made any public declaration. The former president led a delegation of the West African Elders Forum election observation mission to Guinea-Bissau and was safely evacuated by a special flight alongside members of the delegation after the military announced that they were taking full control of the country.
The elections were peaceful. Counting of results at the polling units peacefully done. The conduct of the electoral officials, the security, the party agents, the voters. So it was a good election, and one expected the results to be announced. Then while they were collating the results, then they are finished collating results. You know, results are, for presidential elections are collated at different levels. Correct. That's right. The 9 regions, results were ready. So they were collating them at the capital. And when they were almost through, and we were all waiting for the result to be announced, then Embalo announced that there's a coup, that they have taken over, they have arrested him. But from all indications, nobody arrested him. What happened in Guinea-Bissau, I wouldn't call it a coup. It was not a coup. For want of better word, I would say maybe it was a ceremonial coup. Because for two things, it is the president, President Embalo, that announced the coup. Before later, a military man came up to address the world that they were in charge of everywhere. Then Embalo has already announced the coup, which is strange. And my charge to ECOWAS and AU is that they must announce that result. They have the results because AU and ECOWAS officials were at all the regions when the results were collated. They cannot change those results. They should tally all those results and announce. They cannot force the military out, but they must announce, let the world know who won that election.
President Bola Tinubu has sent the names of 32 ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation days after he sent the first batch of 3 names. In 2 separate letters to the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu asked the federal lawmakers to consider and confirm 15 nominees as career ambassadors and 17 nominees as non-career ambassadors. A statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Mr. Abayo Ononuga, says there are 4 women on the career ambassadors list and 6 women on the non-career ambassadors list. Amongst the nominees for the ambassadorial positions are the former aviation minister, Femi Fani-Kayode, Mr. Obunaya Kalu from Abia State, a former presidential aide, Reno Mokri from Delta State, former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, former Ekiti First Lady, Angela Adebayo, and former governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, amongst others. The new nominees are expected to be posted to countries where Nigeria maintains excellent and strategic relations, such as China, India, South Korea, Canada, Mexico, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, South Africa, Kenya, and to permanent missions such as the United Nations, UNESCO, and the African Union. All the nominees will know their diplomatic assignments after their confirmation by the Senate, and you can see the full list of the nominees on our website, channelstv.com. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has condemned the lists of ambassadorial nominees as submitted by the president, describing the selections as unfit for diplomatic representation. In a statement issued by the National Publicity Secretary, the party alleged that the nominees include disgraced propagandists, characterless politicians, and public officials whose reputations, it said, are marred by integrity issues and anti-democratic conduct. The statement describing the development as not only regrettable reflection on the nation's diplomatic history, but also deeply reprehensible and scandalous. The party demands that President Tinubu withdraw the list and put forward new nominees with proven democratic integrity and exemplary moral character. The politics now. The 2023 Labour Party vice presidential candidate, Mr. Dati Baba Ahmed, is asking the National Working Committee of the party, led by Mr. Julius Abure, to pursue a holistic reconciliation process ahead of the 2027 general elections. He made a call at the National Executive Committee meeting of the parties at the party's headquarters in Abuja. The meeting was attended by members of the Labour Party's National Working Committee, led by Julius Abure.
Members of the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, led by Mr. Julius Abure, are joined by the vice presidential candidate of the party in the 2023 presidential election for this National Executive Committee meeting of the party. Top on the agenda is the ratification of the outcome of the 2024 convention of the group held in Nnewi, Anambra State.
It is my humble opinion to request that NEC in session should approve and affirm the convention of Nnewi and also affirm the officer elected during that convention.
The convention was trailed by controversies, leading to a split within the party's leadership as Nenade Usman and Lamidi Apapa had two separate splinter groups. The vice presidential candidate of the party in the 2023 presidential election urges members to pursue a holistic reconciliation process ahead of 2027.
This is a renewed drive for reconciliation, and I'm here as a loyal party member to continue to open our arms to embrace new members, existing members, and all members to please come back and reconcile with the party for the national assignments ahead of us.
Asked if the party's presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, is still in the party, this is what the national chairman had to say.
As per the question relating to PO, I think that those questions are best for Peter Obi himself to answer. As it stands now, I'm not in a position to speak for Peter Obi.
Mr. Abure also gives a summary of the resolutions reached by the National Executive Committee meeting.
NEC in section reaffirm those elected as national officers of the party at the National Convention held in 2024 in Anambra State on the 27th of March 2024.
The Labour Party has been enmeshed in a leadership crisis over the years, and at some point, the electoral umpires stopped recognizing the leadership of the party. However, INEC representatives were present as observers at this meeting, as the party hopes that the crisis is finally resolved.
To other stories now. Ahead of the festive season, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, says it's intensifying efforts to ensure a smoother travel experience for Nigerians. The Managing Director, CEO of FEMA, gave the assurance during the official launch of Operation Connect to Your Destination 3.0 in Akwa Ibom State.
Operation Connect to Your Destination is designed to guarantee free and safe movements of commuters, especially during the Yuletide when travel volume increases. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony, the managing director and CEO of FERMA, Chukwuemeka Agbasi, explains that the initiative is crafted to alleviate travel challenges typically experienced at the end of the month and during the festive season.
We're flagging off Operation Connect to Your Destination, which is designed to ensure free movement of commuters, particularly during the Ember months, by making sure that the trouble spots we have on the network, where you have failures, potholes, are worked on and remedied and restored so that passengers can move freely.
The head of FERMA's direct labor unit, Sani Abdul Kadir, assures that the direct labor teams have been fully mobilized and are committed to timely and durable execution, especially ahead of the increased festive traffic.
I am happy to inform you that the managing director has graciously approved the deployment of all resources that are needed for successful execution of this program nationwide. To our road users, what we expect from you is to please drive responsibly and carefully whenever you encounter our men working on the road. The few minutes we are going to slow down, the few minutes you will sacrifice will help us and give you a seamless maintenance exercise.
FRSC applaud the initiative.
FEMA has actually helped us in a to a great extent, because when we identify this spot, they go ahead to ensure that this black spot, blind spot, are being taken care of. So I really need to commend the CEO of FEMA.
The launch of OCYD 3.0 in Akwa Ibom State is yet another demonstration of FERMA's expanding footprint in safeguarding Nigeria's highways by tackling critical road failures, enhancing connectivity, and improving safety standards. The agency continues to play a defining role in keeping the nation's federal roads motorable.
Staying with infrastructure development, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has announced that buses and cars meant for the operation of the Mabushi and Kubo bus terminal, as well as the soon-to-be-completed one in the Central Business District, will arrive soon ahead of the takeoff of the service. The minister made the announcement during a tour of some of the ongoing projects in the nation's capital, Abuja. Mr. Wike explained that the government is partnering with private companies to provide buses and taxis, all painted in the Abuja color. He also noted that the pace of work on the Pai Gumani Road in Kwali Area Council, stating that the road will open up rural communities in the area.
The bus terminal in Central Business area, Abuja, quite impressed with the quality of job. If you check that, it looks a bit different from the other bus terminals that are commissioned at Mabuchi and Kubo. And the contractor is bent on finishing before the end of the year. I believe by that time the buses, the vehicles were procured for the takeoff of those terminals would have also arrived. So one is very happy with the construction of the bus terminal. And then again, we came to the road from Pai to Gobadi. Frankly speaking, I'm not too impressed because that road was awarded before the A2 to Pai, and we have commissioned that. Well, from what I've observed, it appears there's not much communication between the Southern Development and the contractor. There appears to be issues of violation and I'm not too comfortable with that. And so when we go back, we'll look at it, and those who did not do what they're supposed to do will have to be sanctioned.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the 2025 Africa Investment Forum ends in Rabat, Morocco, with the president of the African Development Bank announcing a commitment of $15.2 billion by participants at the meeting. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for deeper collaboration and sustained alignment of purpose between the executive and legislative arms of government. He described such synergy as crucial to building a Nigeria that works for everyone. The Vice President was speaking at a dinner hosted for members of the National Senator Oluremi Tinubu at the State House, Abuja.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Remi Tinubu, is rallying support for the passage of the Reserved Seats Bill. And this dinner with some members of the National Assembly is one of the efforts to secure the lawmakers' buy-in. She believes the bill offers a historical opportunity for Nigeria to reposition its democracy and strengthen national development.
Across the world, countries that have adopted varying forms of affirmative measures have seen improvements in the quality of governance, the inclusiveness of public policies, and the stability of their political systems. Nigeria can and should also benefit from such progressive ideologies.
The lawmakers are led by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, while Governor Hope Uzodinma, in his capacity as the Chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, is representing the Nigeria Governors Forum. Ahead of the vote on the constitution bills, the lawmakers and the governors are in unison in advocating for increased women's participation in governance.
We support this affirmative action. We support the idea of more women being on the table in the National Assembly to take decisions. The Senate has already decided on the number in their thinking. If I were to give you the expo, we are planning to make sure that it comes from zonal representation and not necessarily state by state.
Women constitute almost half of our population, but remain severely underrepresented in parliament. This weakens our democracy and undermines national security. Global experience shows that when women take part in security policy making, countries adopt more effective strategies for prevention, community engagement, victim protection, and long-term peace building.
All of us in this room belongs to the interest that is being canvassed. Because either you are speaking for our mothers or they are speaking for our wives. And if that is the case, I'm almost certain that we are in agreement that women should be supported.
Vice President Kashim Shettima later joins the conversation, advocating deeper collaboration between the executive and legislature.
Your sacrifices remain the quiet engines that sustain our nation. So tonight, we welcome you warmly, not just as lawmakers, but as partners in the eternal project of nation building. And this eternal project of nation building requires of us, demands of us, expects of us the resolve to respect, value, cherish our wives and sisters.
The meeting is also considered a reunion of some sort, as the First Lady calls for sustained provision of education to all Nigerian children to enable them to thrive.
In Rivers State, women turned out in their numbers in Port Harcourt, the state capital, for the Women Converge 2025, a gathering organized to promote faith, empowerment, and solidarity. The group also expressed strong support for the administration of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Our correspondent Charles Oporum has this report.
It was a sea of whites and excitement at the Alfred Giete Spieth Civic Center as thousands of Rivers women gather for Women Converge 2025, united by faith, purpose, and a shared message of support for Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The event themed The Woman in an Evolving World, Preserving Praise and Prayer with Thanksgiving, drew women from different spheres, business, religious institutions, civil society, as well as local communities. Speaking at the gathering, the wife of the governor, Lady Valerie Fubara, describes the conference as a reflection of the strength and influence of women in shaping society.
This is indeed a great gathering of women that positively impact our society in many ways. As the theme of this year, Converge Anchors of Women in an Evolving World, it reflects the very essence of actions and strategies that our women adopt to navigate the new world order. Whether it is innovation or invention or even the dynamics of the society, women have remained relevant in all the converging approaches.
While the former Commissioner for Environment lauds the women, but warns that they aren't in competition with the men.
Women are the gateway of families. Women are not competing with men. Women are partners of men. Are you hearing me?
On his part, the representative of the Muslim community says women are favored and have a very important role to play in the society.
The Muslims are here, even though the gathering is only meant for women. And we realize and also put it into context. Our wives in the house, in our houses, will be part of these Rivers Women Unite and See.
Participants described the event as inspiring and transformative.
Involving women, you know there are things that you don't involve women, but this time around women are up and doing. And I'm so happy with most women because they are ready to hit the nail on the head. They are not ready to sit down as a housewife anymore. The women are ready to do everything. Anything you know that a man can do, you will see the woman putting her head, putting her body, making sure that she's doing the same thing. And that's the reason why this time around, no dulling.
The ceremony ends with a symbolic cutting of the cake by Lady Valerie Fubara, joined by special guests and hundreds of enthusiastic women as they show support for their governor. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
Some company news now. Nigerian Brewery says it's preparing to drape Nigeria in festive magic come December, rolling out parties, dazzling and breathtaking Christmas light displays across major cities. The company promises to make this year's celebration unforgettable for customers, unveiling a lineup of enchanting year-end activities during the launch of its legendary Christmas campaign in Lagos. We'll have that report in a moment. Outside our shores, the 2025 Africa Investment Forum has ended in Rabat, Morocco, with the president of the African Development Bank announcing a commitment of $15.2 billion made by participants at the meeting. He believes this commitment is a sign that the gap between capital and opportunities is being closed in Africa. Our business editor, John Mekwa, who has been covering the event, has this report.
a busy 3 market days at the Africa Investment Forum. The representatives of development banks, of governments, of private institutions and private companies from different countries, both in Africa and outside Africa, sealed deals, had connections and conversations they couldn't have even before now. Meetings and interactions like this is how the forum has catalyzed $225 billion in investment since it started in 2018. However, with the continent still in need of about $170 billion annually to close the infrastructural gap, especially in energy sufficiency, there's the obvious need to unlock more capital and eliminate hurdles, perceived or real, that may deter investors.
We see that interest in renewable energy is strong, but the enabling environment often creates delays that become difficult to overcome. And these challenges are not theoretical. They are operational, financial, regulatory, and logistical.
Africa's under 2% investment in global renewable energy, despite holding 60% of the world's solar resources, among other potentials in wind and geothermal, points to the need to de-risk investments.
In the case of energy, and energy, accounts for almost 30% of MEGA's exposure in Africa, utilizing the key risks such as breach of contract, which is the offtake risk, we're backstopping offtake, as well as things like currency transfer restriction and convertibility risks.
In order to unlock the potential of the renewable energy, it is very important to have an appropriate funding system for the grid infrastructure. It is also very important to look at the local development.
The case of Nigeria's reform in the energy sector is also on the table.
And one of the constraints, obviously, is that Nigeria does not yet have a market-reflective tariff structure across board. Also, there are backlogs of opportunities, of obligations to the GENCOs. Now, we think that an institution like AFDB can play a critical role in addressing the constraints to raising that capital.
Nigeria gets attention again at the high-level panel on mobilizing domestic capital to drive Africa's growth.
We hold a large pool, over 2 trillion of pension insurance and assets under management. And we do have nascent and developing capital markets. And such an example presents the opportunity to really leverage domestic resources, reduce obviously dependency on volatility in exchange rate, but also importantly is actually strengthening local capacity.
The conversations may have given a level of respite to investors as the president of the African Development Group, Mr. Sidi Untar, announced at the closing ceremony. He highlights the evidence of this to include the achievement of 39 bankable projects at this year's market days, the commitment of $15.26 billion dedicated to projects spanning 19 countries. Africa does not lack capital. What it lacks is integration and coordination among countries on the continent. And another major need, according to those who participated, is that there's a need to build strong institutions to de-risk the capital, and that will encourage even more capital from the private sector. So as Africa Investment Forum plans for 2026, it is with anticipation that they will come back with greater and brighter stories after this meeting. I'm Ini John Mekwa, been reporting from here, Rabat, the capital of Morocco, for Channels Television News.
Back home in Lagos, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria rolled out the drums to host its 60th annual Bankers Dinner at the Eko Hotel and Suites. The landmark event brought together top business and government leaders, policymakers, and innovators to celebrate the Institute's decades of professional excellence and chart an agenda for Nigeria's financial sector in the coming year.
For 6 decades, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria has stood as a pillar of professional integrity and driving the growth of Nigeria's banking industry. And this evening, the tradition continues as some of the nation's most influential leaders from banking, business and government, including Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, joined industry professionals to celebrate excellence, resilience and the future of Nigeria's financial sector.
For 62 years, the CIBN has continued to wax stronger and stronger.
At the center of the conversations was the president and chairman of Council of the CIBN, Dr. Pius Olarewaju, who delivered a keynote address, setting the tone for the event.
On this auspicious occasion, it is expedient for us to fit in to highlight our renewed commitment towards human capital development in the Nigerian banking industry, pursued in close collaboration with the body of bank CEOs. In response to the staffing gaps occasioned by the Japa syndrome, we have put in place what we call Human Capital Retention Fund to support the training of young entrants into the industry and the upskilling of the existing bank staff that are already working. This project will culminate in the establishment of a banking school of international standard for the industry. The Board of Trustees of the banking school is working assiduously towards developing the robust pipeline of fine-tuning the ready professional equipment to drive the innovation, resilience, and excellence across the financial service sectors.
From reflections on past achievements to bold projections, the spotlight shines on the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, as he delivers a keynote address on the nation's monetary policy direction and economic future.
In 2026, we will deepen engagement with stakeholders, strengthen collaboration with other regulators and international partners, and foster responsible innovation across the financial system. We will continue to provide forward guidance, protect the integrity of our financial markets, leverage technology and AI to improve decision-making, and build institutional capacity to support an evolving and resilient financial system.
The evening blended reflection, celebration, and strategic engagement as guests explored how collaboration between policymakers, regulators, and bankers can unlock new opportunities for growth.
So the lucky winners of the draw will be going home with these prizes.
As the 60th Annual Bankers' Dinner comes to a close, one theme stood out: with strong leadership and a united financial community.
With an extensive Christmas street lighting, illuminating 13 kilometers of major roads across 6 cities.
For many, many years, for us, Lagos has been the hub of Christmas for our portfolio. But we are taking it beyond Lagos. We're taking it to all the geopolitical zones of the country. Because actually, that is what matters. When families come together all over the country, there will be a Nigerian Breweries brand in that moment. So we're going to light roads in Aba, in Enugu, in Port Harcourt, in Abuja, in Ibadan, in Lagos mainland. It's not only about the island. We're going to be everywhere. So this is super important. We have many, many concerts. And we flag off, of course, with Davido in Abuja with his 5 Alive tour. But we're going to be doing amazing things. We have concerts in Ibadan. We have concerts in Port Harcourt. But beyond this, at the heart of this legendary Christmas is the gifts. And we're going to go big this time with the Maltina brand. We're going to be giving away thousands and thousands and thousands of our products all over the country. And you will see this all over the country in the next couple of weeks.
The campaign will unfold nationwide with each brand in the Nigerian Breweries portfolio bringing its own unique flavor to the festivities.
We have brands that cater for all interests. So the idea is this year we are offering Nigerians platform bigger than what we have seen in the past. And that's why you could see that our activities are not just limited to one location, 6 locations. And not just one brand, several of our brands. So it's an opportunity for Nigerians to celebrate like never before.
Guests at the cocktail are treated to a preview of these upcoming experiences, along with immersive brand storytelling that showcase Nigerian breweries' deep connection to Nigerian culture and creativity.
It's really basically about the people. We look at the communities, what is important for those communities, and that's where we go. Because at the heart of our business is people, and the people drive the sales of our beer brand. So we follow the people where they go.
With a legendary Christmas, Nigerian Brewery says it is reinforcing its promise not only to brew a better world, but to spark moments of connection, inspire togetherness, and honor the cultural pride that defines the Nigerian festive experience.
Welcome to Sports News. We begin with football, English Premier League, where Phil Foden scored the winning goal in a keenly contested encounter between Manchester City and Leeds United. The Premier League title challengers blew a 2-goal lead in a dramatic 3-2 win over Leeds. Foden and Josko Guardiola put City 2 up before the interval, but third-bottom Leeds hit back through Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Mencha. Foden clinched a nerve-jangling victory that lifted City into second place, 4 points behind leaders Arsenal, who travelled to third-place Chelsea on Sunday. In other matches, Brentford came from behind to beat Burnley 2-1 at the GTEC Stadium, Community Stadium, courtesy of a brace from Igor Thiago, as well as a goal from Dango Ouattara. Elsewhere, Sunderland also held on to defeat Bournemouth 3-2 at the Stadium of Light. Newcastle United displayed a very flawless campaign to beat Everton 4-1 at the Old Dixon Stadium with a brace from Malik Tau and goals from Lewis Milley as well as Nick Wolthead. Finally, West Ham United coach Nuno Espirito Santo is looking forward to London Stadium return, where they welcome defending Premier League champions Liverpool to the capital on Sunday. West Ham United are looking to make it 4 games unbeaten, with what will be a third win in a row on home soil against Liverpool. Though both teams have been in contrasting form of late, Espirito Santo says his players will be looking to build on their recent momentum and further pull away from the relegation zone.
Every team has these kinds of momentums going, and then they react. Though I'm only focused on West Ham, on our players. How can we compete? How can we play? It's going to be a new game. It's going to be a new game that it's up to us to try and play good, knowing that we're going to face a very good team that has players capable of doing fantastic things, and we have to get ready and try also to go and compete.
And that's it on Sports News. It's back to Melinda for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Olumide. On the international scene, about 600 people have been killed due to torrential rains which triggered floods and landslides across parts of southern Asia. Monsoon rain excavated by tropical storms caused some of the region's worst flooding in years, with millions affected in Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand and Sri Lanka. Intense rainfall began on the Indonesian island of Sumatra on Wednesday. During the flood, everything was destroyed, with hundreds still missing. Authorities say the death toll is likely to rise as thousands remain stranded, while some await rescue on rooftops. More than 300 people have died in Indonesia and 160 people in Thailand, and several deaths were reported in Malaysia. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that the airspace around Venezuela should be considered closed in its entirety to all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers. He made that clear on his post on social media. The United States does not legally have any authority to close another country's airspace, but President Trump's post could lead to travel uncertainty and deter airlines from operating there. The United States had been building its military presence in the Caribbean, which officials say is to tackle drug smuggling. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has dismissed United States claims of drug trafficking as an attempt to oust him. And the main news again. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has criticized the federal government over the worsening insecurity in the country. He asked the government to address the menace. President Tinubu has nominated former INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode, and Reno Omokri, as well as others, as ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Kinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.